Good morning everyone, welcome to another special episode of Cooking with Stir Crazy, live on a beautiful Easter Saturday morning afternoon. I'm here with my son Ryan O'Connor and we are going to be making some awesome treats for you today. You can obviously join in with us, the recipe is on our website, have a look at them, see if you've got the ingredients and then always come back to the video or do it with us straight away as soon as you can. First thing, as per usual, we're going to go through what we need and the equipment that's needed, and then we're going to jump straight into it and get done with the recipes that we're going to do. So first thing, come along and take a look at the ingredients. Note that I have two batches of ingredients. First one we're going to be doing over here, which is the chewy chocolate fudge cookies. These are absolutely delicious. What do you say, buddy?
The chocolate
chip cookies. What did you think of them? They were delicious, huh?
They're very delicious.
Yes, they were.
And I was actually gobbling them.
Yes, you were. So what you're going to be needing is you're going to be needing 1 cup of finely chopped dark chocolate. Doesn't have to be fine, as you can see. You can either use chips and you can use bars, whichever one. Doesn't really matter. 155 grams of butter. 3/3 of a cup granulated sugar. 1.5 cups of light brown sugar. You're going to need 2 eggs, you're going to need 1.25 cups of flour, you're going to need 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and you're going to need a little bit of salt just for decoration. Salt is an optional extra, and then you can always add other stuff if you really want to, but I recommend sticking to this recipe as it is because it's quite important to get that texture just right, because you want that chewiness, but you want it relatively on the thin side as well. So you've got a bit of a chewy chocolate kind of biscuit. The next recipe, if you look on this side over here, is we've got our triple chocolate muffins. Oh, doesn't that sound delicious, buddy?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So we've got 120 grams of semi-sweet chocolate. You can just use milk chocolate, is fine. You need a 1/2 cup of butter. You need 150 grams of sugar. You need 2 eggs at room temperature. You need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. What have you got?
Sorry.
Okay. You need 80 grams of yogurt, which is over here, and then you need a 1/2 cup of flour, and then you need 32 grams or a 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. Then you need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And then you need 1 cup of chocolate chips. Now what we're going to be doing, because of the Easterness, we are going to be putting speckled eggs instead of those chocolate chips. How delicious does that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There's a bunny hiding in there.
There's a bunny hiding in there. There's a bunny hiding in there. All right.
Even there's a bunny hiding here.
Yes, there's bunnies all over the place. Oh my word. All right, cool.
There's a bunny there.
So,
and there's a bunny there.
fantastic.
And there's another bunny and a chicken.
Fantastic, buddy.
There's
First thing we're going to do is you need to have a sip of your hot chocolate on such an awesome day. Have a sip.
I already did.
Did you? Okay, then I'm going to move it out the way. Say bye-bye, hot chocolate. I'm going to put you over here. Okay. So if you guys have got all your ingredients ready, this is the time that we're actually going to start through. We're going to go through each step one by one and make sure that we're doing everything the proper way. I do recommend either having the recipe nearby because there are quite a few steps to follow. We will be doing it as well so that we will be doing it at a reasonable pace. So the first thing we're going to be doing, alright buddy, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so,
Mixing bowl.
yes, mixing bowl, which is behind you. There we go. The first thing you're going to need to do, as per the recipe, switch your oven on. You want to put your oven at 180. You want it to be hot by the time you start cooking and not have your cookies ready to go in the oven and then switch it on. So you're going to preheat your oven 180 for at least about 15-20 minutes until either your light goes on or off or whatever it may be, and then you can start cooking from there. The second little thing, what are we going to do next, buddy?
Billy Baker says, hi Jody and Ryan.
Hello.
And Charlene says, morning.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon now. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be melting our chocolate mixture. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding our chocolate and butter to a large bowl. Right, grab your chocolate.
Where's the chocolate?
That's it, that's it. Pour it into here.
All of it?
All of it. Right, then you're going to add the butter as well.
Can I pour it in?
You can pour it all in. Have you got all of it in there? Fantastic. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing
I'm
what's known
definitely not
as...
touching that.
That's alright, I will touch it. So what we're going to be doing now is essentially creating what a lot of people or recipes call a double boiler. A double boiler is when you've got a pot of boiling water that you put a heat-proof bowl or plastic bowl or any type of bowl, as long as it's heat-proof, onto the bowl and allow it to slowly melt down together. You could do this in a microwave if you didn't want to do it on a pot. It can be quicker, but you can burn your chocolate a lot easier, a lot more severe than you would over here. This is a very good chance that your chocolate will not burn this way. So definitely try to do this way, and then we can go from there.
Ryan, Stella from school says good morning.
Good morning.
Alright, so what you're going to do is we're going to switch this on. You want to get this onto a high heat to make sure that your water is boiling. Make sure that you do not fill your water up to the top because you do not want the bottom of the bowl to touch the water. You want the water to be underneath it and the steam going all over the side. So if I put that on there, it's not touching. So come and take a look here. What do you think, buddy? Is the water touching there? If I look at the bottom there, can you see the water? Is it touching the bowl?
Mm-mm.
That's right, you don't want to touch the bowl. So this you're just going to allow it to sit here and slowly melt away. Alright, when you put the bowl in here, you want to make sure that the heat that's coming out from the sides isn't actually touching the bowl and it's all staying with the pot itself. Okay, otherwise you're going to get very hot spots on the side and you don't want that. Okay, so this we're just going to let sit there and we're going to continue with the recipe. Alright, what's our next little step? So let's just, I'm going to read the recipe as I go along so that you guys can follow with us. So you're going to add your chocolate and butter to a large heat-proof bowl. Then you're going to place over a pot of simmering water, and the water should not touch the bottom of the bowl, as you do not want to submerge the bottom of the bowl into simmering water. Your next step is you're going to whisk the chocolate and the butter together as it melts. So as it's busy melting, we're going to just mix it nicely together. Head out the way, my boy, thank you. Once melted, you're going to turn off the heat and you're going to place the bowl on a heat-proof surface just to cool down just slightly. You do not want it to completely cool down because you do not want it to solidify. The next little step will be in a stand mixer, which definitely going to need a Kenwood mixer or a mixer or whatnot. You could do this by hand if you really wanted to do, but highly recommended that you do use either a mixer or a beater or something like that. Then what we're going to be doing is with the whisk attachment in a large bowl, we're going to be mixing, we're going to be beating the eggs together as well as the sugar and the brown sugars for about 5 minutes. This we're going to be using the mixer, buddy, because we're going to need to beat it for 5 minutes.
Go mix your chocolate.
For 5 minutes? You need to mix your chocolate though. There you go. So come take a look. Alright. So
Ryan, Hannah's watching. She says hi, Ryan.
Hi.
hi. Hi, wave at the camera.
Say hi, Hannah.
Alright, so let's take your in. Come mix. So what you're going to do is just going to jab it around. Make sure that everything gets nice and soft. Get the chocolate, mix it nicely in. So it's still a little bit hard. It does take a little bit of time. And if you notice that your water is boiling quite rapidly, you can definitely turn that temp down.
And Charmaine says she likes your hat.
There we go. Because you just want it to be steaming like that. So that's we can just allow it to slowly melt away.
Even I'm going to show what's under.
No, just let it melt, my boy. We'll mix it all together.
Is it all melting?
Let me help. So this over here, we want to make sure that it all breaks
Look,
up
it's
nicely.
all melting.
It is all melting. That's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And now the trick with this, why you melt it with the butter, is if you just melt your chocolate alone, what can happen is you overheat your chocolate and it essentially splits and goes quite hard and unusable. The butter is going to keep it nice and moist. It's going to add obviously a richness, a texture to it, is what you're looking for. So this is still melting, still got a little ways to go. So we just get that all there, mix it all through. There we go. Yes, you hold that pot, buddy. Alright, this is still going to take a little bit of time just to melt down. So we just leave this for now. The next little bit is we're going to prepare our mixing bowl. So with the whisk attachment, okay, like you can do this by hand. Recommended that you do this because you need to beat
That's on my normal list.
Yes. So we put that into our machine. Alright, let's get our other ingredients together. Alright, there we go. Alright, so what are the ingredients that we need? Do you remember? We need the eggs and we need the 2 sugars. So we need this over here, we need this over here, we need our 2 eggs. So in our bowl, we're going to do that. So I want you to put the 2 different sugars in there, into the bowl, yes, in that one.
The whole one?
Yeah, make sure all of it is in.
Use your spoon if you need to.
Yeah, you've got a spoon. That's right, and then you got your other sugar. That's it.
This one
Right.
just got.
There you go. So if you come take a look here quickly, you'll see that all the chocolate is melted and all the
Whoa.
butter is melted. So now we're just going to lift it up and we're just going to put it here just to cool down just slightly. Just allow it to sit there. You do not want to take the pot off the heat just yet because we will need this pot later for the next recipe. Alright, so now the 2 sugars are in. Now the next step is the 2 eggs. So I'll crack the eggs in.
I'll crack one.
Let me rather do it, my boy, because the last thing we want is shells in here. You don't want to eat some crunchy shells in your nice chocolate biscuits, do you? I didn't think so. There we go. So take 2 eggs, put that into there.
If we need those items.
No. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to put it onto our mixer. Close our mixer up.
Gillian, did you leave the 2 eggs out of the ingredient list? Gillian, it is on both of the on the recipe lists.
It's definitely on there.
But maybe when we were pre-typing the recipe on the Facebook page, it might have been taken out. So apologies for that.
Alright, so we just got to give this initially just to bind all together because you don't want sugar and eggs spat all over the place. And once it starts, then you're going to just ramp it up and you're just going to start mixing it as per that.
Excuse me, Mom. My big thing.
Okay, there's your recipe.
Hey, buddy.
Wait, where's Ryan's whisk?
In the chocolate.
Okay, buddy. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Very noisy. There we go, that's fine. Okay, the next step is we're going to mix the final 3 ingredients, which is going to be the flour, the cocoa, and obviously the baking powder. So right here you can put all of these 3 into this big bowl.
So finish this.
All of it. There you go. So that's the flour, that is the baking powder, and then lastly the baking soda. Oh, sorry,
the
baking
cocoa.
powder. Sorry. Right. So now what we're going to do?
Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. Now what you're going to do? You're going to take your whisk and you're going to mix it through quite nicely. And
Well, I'm going to mix it through really nice.
just slowly, because it's going to splash all over the place. So just mix it nicely. You want it to be one color. Because right now you see 2 different colors. You want it all to be one color.
Look at
Just keep mixing, keep mixing. Again, just like with the bread, this is quite an important step. You want to make sure that the cocoa and the flour is evenly distributed, as well as the baking powder. Alright, that's good now. So now when it comes to whisking, when it comes to beating the egg and the sugars, very important to beat it for at least 5 minutes. The reason for 5 minutes is it gives it a nice light and fluffy texture, and when you actually mix the heavy chocolate to it later, it gives it a much more creamier, fudgy texture, what you're looking for.
Dad.
Yes.
So how did the red bunny get there?
I think you made the egg here.
No, the red one.
This one. Alright. If you want us to slow down and everyone's happy, we will continue with the next step. Right, so this has been going for probably about 2 minutes, 3 minutes now. So what we're going to do, the next step, is we're going to take our spatula. I want to just still here, nice and warm. Let's get a cloth there. Alright, so now we put our cloth down because we don't want to mess up the table. We put that bowl on there. Now what I want you to do is this. Come have a closer look.
That smells nice.
It smells delicious, doesn't it? So what you're going to do is you're going to take the front of this and you're going to scrape all the sides down like that. And try to get as much chocolate in there as possible. That's right. And then what you want to do is you want to mix it in the middle now. Very gently, because you're going to splash if you go too rough. Okay, in the middle, give it a nice good mix. Make sure all the chocolate and butter is nice to mix together. This is also an important step because you do not want to add your butter and the chocolate mixture into your whisk mixture if the butter and chocolate has split. Otherwise your end mixture is going to split. You want this to be properly mixed together. Probably another minute left and then we can start adding everything together. And then we're just about done with the recipe. Keep mixing, keep mixing, keep mixing. That's right.
Look at all that chocolate.
I know, doesn't it taste delicious? Oh, it smells delicious.
You have to smell this.
Let's smell. Let's smell together.
You have
Beautiful.
to smell
Come smell, come smell. Oh, delicious. All right.
Smell it, Mommy. Stop mixing.
Smells good.
All right. So, right, ready? So stop mixing now. Take your box and mix the mixer. Then mix the mixer. All right. I think, yeah, you can go back. Right, so the next little step is we turn this down slowly, not completely off. You want this to be on a low mix initially. Remember there are eggs in here and this chocolate is warm. So what we're going to be doing is, watch your head buddy, they're pouring in here, there we go. Is we're going to slowly start pouring it in here and then start mixing. Now note I'm not throwing everything in one time. You're going to get everything going, and then halfway through throwing your mixture in, you're going to turn this mixture up again. Went the wrong way. There we go. And now we're going to pour the rest in. Alright, so now we're going to make sure everything is taken out the bowl. Make sure all the little bits and pieces are out the bowl. As much of this chocolate as possible. And we're going to pour that all in there.
Look what you've done.
I know, I made a mess. Are you looking at it?
I'm going to clean
Watch
this
your head,
up.
watch your head. Alright, so then you're going to mix this for
I'm
another
gonna
minute.
clean it up. I'm going to clean
Yeah,
it
then clean
up.
it up, clean it up. Huh? Okay, enough. Good. Alright, so now that it's been mixing for a minute. Okay, ready? You want to scoot for a second? Right, so now we switch off and we lift it up. Now we can hear each other. Now what we're going to be doing is now we're going to be taking this mixture off. And obviously while doing this type of thing, I'm sure a lot of you will remember from the good old days of licking
Yes.
the whisk attachment. So here we go. There you go, buddy. All yours. Go down that side. There we go. All right.
Right, P? Right.
There we go. So the next little bit is taking your flour, your pre-mixture, and you're going to throw all of it into there. Just like that. Alright. So now you need to change the whisk attachment. Obviously you can see I've taken it off. You want to use something like this. This is the mixer or the folder attachment. The recipe does call for you to do this by hand, but you can do this on its lowest setting with this. The sponge, the spatula texture of this is very similar to folding. Just don't put it on absolutely full because you don't want to whisk it. You want to fold it in. So we're going to put that on like that. We're going to close it all up. And we're literally going to switch it on until it actually switches on. So just there. Yes, because if you switch it on, it will be on. Alright, so you can see it is a little bit fast, but that's okay. It will now just start mixing through and will turn into a delicious, fudgy looking mixture. As you can see, it comes together very, very nicely.
Look at that.
Look at that, yes. So at this point, your chocolate cookies are ready to be baked.
Evelyn is so jealous of Ryan right now.
Alright, so this is you're going to let mix for at least 2 or 3 more minutes.
Okay, so let's check in with Mini Chef.
Let's check in with the Mini Chef. How are you doing, Mini Chef? Are you enjoying that? Alright.
Liani, I love my mixer too. It's pink and pretty.
That's it. That's it. Alright, enough of this now, Mr. Chocolate Face. Look at you. How every chef should look.
Paper towel.
I can see how you look. Alright, here you go. You can wipe your face with this. No, not on that. There you go. This is for cleaning the countertops, buddy. There we go. Alright, so now, come buddy. Now it's our next little spot. Now I need ginormous spoons. Now when it comes to the size of these cookies, they can be any size you want. When I had made them the other day, I made a bunch of different sizes.
And even he made one humongous one that was his, but then...
Bigger than his face.
No, not...
But the difference is that when it comes to baking, they all baked at the same time, which was quite surprising. The big ones baked as quick as the small ones did. So you could change the size to any size that you like to. I like the bigger ones because they come out really nice and big, roughly about that big, for the spoon that size. So you can see it spreads about that much. Alright, so now that this has been mixing for about a minute, we'll lift it up.
Which one's bigger? They both the same.
They're both the same. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just on the paddle itself, we're just going to scoot off any chocolate that's sticking to it. Just like that. And then we're going to take our bowl. Now if you can take a close look here, you can see a nice mixture. You can see... Ooh.
Ooh.
There you go. Let's use that. So if you see with a wooden spoon, you can see this mixture is very thick, very sticky. And this is what you're looking for. If your mixture does not look like this, you've done something wrong.
Okay, so it's runnier than a standard cookie dough, but thicker than a muffin batter.
Muffin batter, yes, there we go. So you can see if it's here, you can see how nice and sticky it is. It absolutely is awesome. Alright.
Ow!
Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is...
Right.
now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our spoons. Do you know what a canal is?
No.
No? Why not? Aren't you a chef?
I'm a kid.
Are you a kid chef? Okay, fair enough. Let's show you. Alright. Come on, you go.
Sorry guys, we just forgot to get something.
Alright. So, ingredients I forgot to put on is spray and cook. First thing is hold your breath, spray and cook. You're just going to do a light spray on the tray. That's just going to make sure that nothing sticks. As well as a light spray on the spoons themselves. Just on the whole thing, just like that. Nothing overly crazy. The next little thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be grabbing with one spoon, you're going to be grabbing a nice little ball of mixture. With your second spoon, you're going to make sure that it is a nice round ball. If you've got an ice cream scoop, that would also work. Just like that, a nice ball like that. A bit off on that spoon. And you're going to plop it in this corner here. Don't plop it directly in the corner, because remember, these are going to spread out a little bit. Alright, just like that. Try to round it off as much as you can, but it's not necessary. Alright. Ripey, do you want to do a couple?
Yeah.
There you go.
What must I do?
Put a blob over here. That's it. Hook over, hook over. So there we go. Alright, and then you turn this here, and then you scoop it underneath the spoon, like that. Check it out, you made one.
Good
It's
job.
my own Bubby one.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to put 6 here, and then we'll put these into the oven to start baking. If you've got a nice big oven and you've got a nice big tray, you could obviously do more. But as you can see on this tray, 6 is probably adequate. As you can see, the space between them, you don't want them too close, because like I say, it does spread quite a bit. So there we go, so we put those into there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a perfect little
And
round.
if you're done with those, can I lick those stuff?
Later.
I think later, buddy, because we still got a whole nother recipe we're going to be doing now. Yeah. Alright, so this, as you can see how much I've used, I haven't used that much, and we'll obviously bake these off later. Alright, so this we're just going to put to the side, and now these are ready to be baked. So again, your oven should be already at 180, so buddy, move out the way please.
Catherine Gray, did you spray the baking paper with spray and cook? Yes, we did, because this is a super fudgy recipe and we don't want them to stick.
Yeah. So it goes in there, 180, let me just check on the time. It goes in there for anywhere between 10 and 13 minutes. The recipe does say 11 to 12. 11 to 12. But I say 10 minutes because you, 10 minutes, set your timer for 10 minutes. Check it. If it seems a little bit on the too gooey side, then we'll put it in a bit more. But 10 to 11 minutes it should be where it's going to be. So I'm going to quickly set up a timer and then we can get started on our next ones.
Interesting to see Jody also sprayed the spoons. Yes, because this is a very sticky mixture. And when you spray the spoons, then at least it doesn't stick too much onto them when you are putting them on the baking paper. And once we say goodbye to all of you guys, we get to bake off the rest of these delicious cookies.
Alright, so I've set the timer for 10 minutes. Alright, buddy, let's start on our second one.
Right, up you go, bud.
Buddy, come please.
Why is there a hat up there?
It's a bunny hat.
You know, we put it there. Come, stand.
Okay, guys, on to the next one.
Alright, so that is essentially how to make the cookies when they are ready. When they are ready, we'll obviously show you how they are, but they are busy baking right now. We're going to jump straight onto our second recipe now. You ready for the second recipe?
Yes.
Fantastic. So the next little recipe is a triple chocolate muffins. These are delicious. Now obviously the triple chocolate is you're using actual chocolate bar, you're using coconut powder, and you're using another cup of chocolate at the end. However, we are not going to put that extra chocolate in. We are going to be putting speckled eggs in. How delicious do you think that's going to come out?
And then can I have a piece of chocolate?
Not right now, later. Alright, so just like just now, we're going to read it as per the recipe, just so that you guys can keep up with us. So the first thing we're going to be doing is, again, we're going to preheat our oven, but obviously we can't do that. If you were just making these, you would make sure that your oven is quite high at about 220 degrees. That will essentially, once the muffin starts cooking, it's going to give that beautiful crusty crust on top, which everyone absolutely loves.
Crusty crust.
Crusty crust. Right, where are you going, Mr. Sous Chef? We're going for your hot chocolate. Fantastic. Alright, so then I shall continue.
Liani, are those the sales meeting one? No, these are not the ones I made for sales meeting, but these are, I actually think they're much better.
Alright, so what we're going to be doing is obviously make sure that you have a tray of muffin trays. You do not have to have these, but definitely recommended because they come out easier and you can use them quite nicely. Just as is, you do not need to spray it, you do not need to do anything like that. If you do want to spray it to make life easier, you can. In this case, I'm going to. So just a tiny splot of a spray on each one, just like that, because you don't want there to be too much of this in a cupcake, or a muffin, should I say.
It's because if you spray it too hard, this will go flying.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. That's also another good reason not to use it. Alright, so the next little thing is, let's read what the recipe says. So spray a 12-count muffin pan with a non-stick tray or line with cupcake liners. You may need a second pan for this recipe, can make up to 14 muffins. Though you can always bake in batches using one pan, which is what we're going to be doing. The second little bit is we're going to coarsely chop the chocolates. What's so funny, buddy? What's so funny about chopping chocolate? Okay, we're going to coarsely chop some chocolate, which is over here. Up you get, buddy, please. Thank you. Then we're going to put, just like we did just now, we're going to take this bowl and we're going to put this butter together. There you go. Put it
Put
together.
your butter in your chocolate.
Put it all in closer, buddy, closer. You don't want to make a mess. There you go. So just like what we did just now, we're going to take this bowl and we're going to place it on here. But note that my bowl is too big for the pot. So what we will do is we're just going to downgrade the pot to a little bit of a smaller one. There we go. and we're going to put this bowl straight onto it. There we go, just like that. So, there we go. So now we're just going to allow that to nicely cook away.
I'm going to
So
check
you're
on
going to
the
melt it the
cookies.
same
Going
as
to
you
melt
did
it
with
the
the
exact
cookies.
same way. All right,
The
up, buddy.
cookies are going great.
Up, buddy. All
Have
right.
the cookies started to spread?
Yeah, they spread it.
Yeah, come take a look. You can see how much they are spreading. You can see the gap between everything. You can see how awesome they look.
Those look delicious.
And they are delicious. Right, alright. Next little bits is obviously you're going to continue with this. So here we've done it. So we've coarsely chopped the chocolate. Then we placed it in a medium heat bowl with the butter. It does say you can use a microwave. We are going to use a double boiler. Whisking after each until completely smooth. So just like what we did just now in the beginning, we are going to do the butter and the chocolate until it's completely melted down.
Okay.
The next little bit is we're going to whisk the sugar, the eggs, and the vanilla and the yogurt together, and then we're going to set aside. So that's what we're going to be doing now. Right, where is that bowl? I
Your
just
big
had?
mixing bowl is behind the Kenwood?
No, where's the...
Oh, this one,
Yeah,
the one that I stole.
You stole my bowl.
I didn't. Well, I was cleaning up.
Okay, so my boy, you are going to put in there the sugar. There you go.
All of it?
All of it. The vanilla. Just be careful, it's a liquid.
And it's very high.
Put it all in.
Good job.
Oh, look how it looks delicious.
It does. It smells delicious. I think. This is yogurt. Put that all in. Let me give you a spoon to get it all out. There you go.
As the commercial chocolate bars seem to have become sweeter over the years, what percentage strength chocolate should one usually use nowadays for muffins like these or for chocolate cheesecake?
This calls for a semi-sweet chocolate. So you're generally looking for just a standard milk chocolate. However, if you're looking for a percentage, I would say anywhere in the 50% range. That's generally on the higher end of chocolates when it comes to milk chocolate. But anything, it ultimately comes down to your flavor, texture, your palate at the end of the day. We are using, which one are we using?
That's the milk.
Yeah, we're using a milk chocolate in this case.
Because we have a sweet tooth child.
Yes, we do. But generally, if you're not looking for as sweet of a chocolate, anything below 50% is what you're looking for.
Okay, so you could use the Bourneville chocolate or...
Definitely,
okay.
definitely. Don't stand on the edge of the box, you're going to fall. Alright, so what we've got in here is we've got our yogurt, our sugar, our vanilla. We need to put our 2 eggs in.
And can I crack one?
I think let Dad...
Again, because we don't want to have any shells in here, my boy. So
I
I'm just going to
promise I
crack
won't
them.
put any sugar.
I'd rather not, my boy.
No, come on.
Alright, do you want to have a go at it? So you get your finger here, and you get your finger here, and you pull apart. Very gently, very gently. That's it, gently. Go, 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 go. Oh! And pour it in. There we go. I don't think we got any shells in.
No, we didn't get any shells.
Good job, buddy.
Good job, well done. Why don't you go
I'm
wipe
gonna
your
go
hands?
wash my hands.
Yes.
Good plan.
Then can you switch that on?
Yes, buddy. There's
Shall we
there.
check our chocolate?
Well, it's got a timer on, but...
No.
Yeah, so this is just slowly going. Still hasn't quite started doing anything just yet. Have a look at the muffin and the things. You can start seeing how they're starting to crack nicely. That is what you're looking for. If you take a look at your recipe picture, you'll note that they look almost identical. We'll put them next to each other. Out the way, buddy. They look almost identical. Fantastic. Alright, so let's get back to the recipe. Up you get, my boy.
The one is very big.
I know, right? That's going to be yours, huh?
Yep, the big
Alright,
one.
so we're going to whisk the okay, so now we're going to whisk the eggs, the sugar, and the vanilla all together, and then we're going to put it aside. Okay, so let me get your whisk quickly.
There we go.
I keep putting it somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to mix this together, so let's break the eggs. There we go. Can you mix this until it comes into a nice sludge, buddy?
Slowly.
So slowly, just slowly.
Gonna stir from India.
Slowly, my boy, slowly. Alright, so the chocolate has just started to melt, but nothing to really show just yet.
Thanks, Mom.
There's your bear.
Look, Dad.
Keep going.
Keep going, it must be much more mixed together.
Tell me when I can stop.
Keep going.
Oh.
Okay, let me give it a go. Just give it a nice little mix like that. This is just to make sure that the sugar and all that stuff is not sticking to the bottom and is slowly starting to dissolve. Alright, just like that. Now we can put that aside. Up you get. Up, buddy. No one can see you. There you go. So next you're going to whisk the flour. You can put that in.
In this?
In that one.
The big one?
Yes. There you go. You're going to put your cocoa in there.
In here?
Yep. Then you're going to put your bicarb of soda in there.
In here?
Yeah. And then you're going to put a tiny little bit of salt. Now a lot of people look at salt in sweet stuff and they think, what? Salt? Like really? I'm one of those people. Salt actually in its very small quantities in a baked good actually enhances the flavor just like it would a normal dish. But in baking goods it obviously makes the cocoa, as this is an unsweetened cocoa, stand out a bit more boldy, and actually have a much better flavor at the end.
Dad,
yes.
you know, two of the cookies are sticking together. Look.
That's alright, we'll sort it out when it comes out.
We can just use a knife to cut it in half.
Really?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. Right, so the next thing is just like we did just now. You're going to mix these flours together. Make sure it's nicely bound together. Again, for flavor and for texture. While he's busy doing that, you want to come take a look on this side? You keep going, ready? Alright, so that's also our timer for the things. Do you want to do that one?
Easier said than done with one hand.
Look how
Right, that's cool, right, so. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just take this off the heat because it's now melting very quickly. We obviously don't want it to split in any way. We're going to give this a nice mix. You can see here. Give this a nice little mix off the heat and allow the chocolate and the butter to nicely mix together and slowly melt. As you can see, I've taken it off the heat because the residue heat not only on the glass but within the butter and the chocolate itself will slowly continue melting.
Oh, you guys have to smell it.
Does it smell delicious?
Just smell it, guys.
Just smell it.
Right, how are our cookies doing?
Our cookies are almost there.
Let me see them.
Alright. So this is almost done, so we'll just allow this to slowly cool just like we did just now. Like that. Alright. The next little bit, as the recipe says, is we've now whisked the flour, the cocoa and the baking soda and the salt together. Right, Pete, don't stand on the corner of the box. Alright, now the next little bit is we are going to add the wet ingredients and fold completely to combine until there are no flour spots left at the bottom. So inside here, we're going to change this whisk to this. So first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding this mixture. You can use this little thing here. There you go. Alright, so we're going to add that in. So start mixing, slowly, slowly, slowly. Pour all of that in.
Oh, it's super light.
It's like the mud pies you were making.
Take last night.
I
Yeah.
think these will taste better than a mud pie.
Here we go. Let me help.
Not that I know what mud pies taste
Yeah, I was
like.
about to say.
My mud pies taste as mud.
Really?
Do they taste like mud?
How do you know?
It's because I'm clever.
Yes, you are. Alright, so right, Pete, do you want to move your leg quickly?
Come jump out the way because Dad's going to take the cookies out.
So we take these cookies out and look at that. Look how those look. Aren't those absolutely delicious? So these have been
they
in,
smell incredible.
so these have been in for an extra 2 or 3 minutes. Now note, if you can get a closer look where my hand's going to be, you can see how, careful, don't touch. Just don't move. There you go. So you can see there, you can see how it's still quite soft.
And they collapse.
That's it. That's what you want. You want this to sit here. And you want this to cool down. Remember, these need to be quite on the moist side. If you try to cook them until they're dry, they are going to come out like chocolate rusks. You don't want to do that. You want a fudgy brownie. Alright, so this is we're just going to allow to cool down while we continue with the rest. So in here, I'm going to mix this through, get all the flour and everything together.
Guys, did you see I left it like that and it looked delicious?
Mm-hmm. Here we go. We're going to mix this through.
It smells delicious.
Right, so I'm going to get another spatula because this one's not really up to par. If I can find one. Fine.
Next straw. Sorry, I rearranged the kitchen.
Yeah. Alright, so this we're just going to take off the spatula because as you can see it's very, very loose.
It's a little spatula as well.
Alright, so there you go, buddy. So now you take the big one and start mixing the same way. There we go. And now we're going to take our chocolate mixture. Keep mixing, keep mixing.
Phelan says they look amazing, and Harry says they look super tasty.
Yes, they are. Alright, let me give you a hand quick, buddy. Let me get the chocolate out of here. Okay, so we get in here and get all the extra little bits and chocolate out.
Then I can mix it again.
Yeah, and then I'll give you a hand mixing just to initially. All the little bits on the sides. You can see how nicely that's coming together. Oh, doesn't that smell delicious?
Just smell it, Mom. It's so delicious.
Oh, you can see how I'm mixing and it's come together quite nicely. There we go.
It's so delicious.
Alright, so as you can see your mixture, how quite nice it is. Nice and runny. There are no flour spots or anything in there. We'll just give it a nice good mix. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Now comes the bit where you would add your chocolate chips. And in this case, we are going to be putting... Alright, so this place we're going to take our speckled eggs. I do recommend chopping them up, although you could put them in straight as they are. But we take a few time. And we just, this is not the right knife. There we go. And you're just going to roughly chop these up. They don't have to be finely chopped. They can be chopped in any way you would like. As you can see, we're going to do this.
Are you eating the speckled eggs, Ryan? There's going to be none left for your muffins.
Yeah. Alright, so then we're going to chop these like this.
Don't tell anyone.
Are there any questions? Does anyone want to ask anything?
Cameron says, Kez is the recipe on the website for the cookies. Jody is the recipe on the website for the cookies.
Yes. the recipe is on the website. Have a look at Stir Crazy. You'll see our online cooking recipes plus a couple of extra ones there as well. And then, yes, definitely have a look. And you can get all the ingredients, all the recipes there. So, right, so now what we're going to do is you don't have to use a whole cup if you don't want to. I think I'm not going to use a whole cup because speckled eggs in their own right are pretty sweet to start with. I'm probably using about half of the cup that we're going to be using.
Shall we put some whole ones in as well? Or only chopped?
Only chopped.
Okay.
Alright, so now that we've chopped a majority of them, right, now we're going to take all of these as they are and split them into our batter. Take the rest and just scoot them over like that.
Don't get any bits in there.
There we go. Let me take this away from you.
Aww.
Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mix them nicely together. As you can see how colorful this is. It really works nicely. There we go. Doesn't that look delicious?
Very delicious.
Oh my word, it looks delicious. Alright. So now we go to our muffin tray. Like that. We grab our spoons that we were using. Oh, they're there. So we'll grab a fresh batch of spoons.
Oh my
goodness. How look do those good? How good do those look?
Oh, those look delicious.
Alright, so now...
And look at the biggest one.
Right, Pete? Hi, my boy. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be scooping up a nice bit of mixture. And we're going to be splotting it into there. Wait, let me do it. There we go. And you're going to fill this up, not all the way to the top, but roughly about 3/4 of the way. So come have a closer look and you'll see how high you should fill it up by. Alright. Right, Pete, you want to do the rest?
That's brave, Dad.
Oh. You got to let go of the reins sometimes.
Are you cleaning up?
So remember, these need quite a high temperature. So now that these are out, we're going to put the temperature up to 220. About there.
Okay, right. Give him another spoon to scrape the other spoon.
There we go.
Yes, Leonie, they are perfect.
There we go. Just like what we did just now.
And they're the best with tea.
Oh, they're best just on their own, really. So if you take a look at these, you can see this is the top. You can see how awesome they look. You can see it's got that classic brownie.
Don't worry.
And if you look at the bottom, you'll note that it's quite spongy. It's also very, very soft. So you want to let these cool down as much as you can. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a few of these. I'm just going to put them over here.
Is that enough?
Yes.
Yes, so keep going with the other ones.
Oh, that's a nice big scoop.
Good job, bud. You're doing so well.
Alright, any other questions? No one got anything to say? I hope you're all following. I hope I've explained it nicely to you. Alright, buddy, let me take over here, my big boy, so we can finish this up.
It's just 2 spoons.
That's alright.
Good job.
Alright, so... Alright, so now we're just going to fold these up nice and quickly. And I now don't have a son anymore, I now have a half rabbit dog.
Rabbit dog, you mean a rabbit?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a rabbit.
Alright, so as you can see we fold these up nicely. It looks like this batch will probably just do 12, maybe not even. We'll see how it goes. There we go.
I drank some of my
So I'm using roughly a whole scooped spoon per cupcake. So actually, no, we're not going to make 12. We'll make just under 12. It's probably 13. Alright, so this one needs to go a little bit more.
Look how lucky I am.
I know, you're very lucky, buddy.
I
Alright.
think you better get a clean spatula for Dad out the drawer, right?
I don't need a spatula anymore. We're all done. So I'm not going to be able to do the other ones, so I'm just going to fill up the ones that are a little bit on the low side. There we go. Awesome. So as you can see, these you do not need to do anything. I'm just tapping it just to even it out. You do not need to do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this straight into the oven. Out the way, my big boy. Into the oven.
Okay, so the oven is at what temperature now?
220.
And we do that for 5 minutes.
So I'll double check now. I'm just washing all the chocolate with my hands. And we do that for, where's my recipe in front of you? We do that for 5 minutes. And then we drop the temperature down to 180. And we bake for additional 15 to 17 minutes.
Harold, the cookies were 12 minutes.
Yes. Alright.
Has I put this in?
Yes.
Yes. Right, so now that they're baking, now essentially you just have to follow those steps as they are. And then that's it. Then you essentially have your baked goods ready. So buddy, what do you think these things look like when they're baked?
Chocolate muffins with
Mr.
stick on it.
Oui, monsieur, chocolate monsieur.
Look at me, right?
Move your
Move
finger.
your finger.
Can I have one this time? Can I have one?
Out the way, please. So once you're done, you should be left with this. So now we've got these awesome chocolate muffins that if you break
gonna
over, you
take
can
a
see
piece
the
of
little...
chocolate.
Yes, you are. You're going to take and you can open up and you can see the
All the
awesome
speckled
speckled
eggs.
eggs that are actually all in there. You can see the little pieces coming off it over there. Absolutely delicious. And then you got your brownie fudgy cookies. Now if I take this and I break it
even
open,
got some speckled eggs and some
you can
Easter bunnies.
notice that
Oh, look at-
stickiness that comes. And there
you.
it goes. You
Thank
notice that I've been robbed. I've been robbed. Now you can see what's left on my tiny little piece. Now this is what I get.
This is what we get, hey, Rye?
And as you can see, if you come on closer, you can see how nice and soft and squishy that is. That is absolutely delicious.
Guys, these cookies are amazing.
Yes, there you go.
I'm gonna not drop
So,
it.
How's your muffin?
how's your muffins? Have you even tasted your muffin? Have a taste of your muffin, monsieur. What's the packet? How's that? So this is a good way to get your kids on a sugar drive for the rest of the day. I definitely recommend it because it's a lot of fun. Ultimately, I'm going to say thank you very much. These are just going to cook for another 15-20 minutes. Obviously, this is the end result of what they're going to be looking like. What you can do is take a metal skewer, put it in, just to make sure it's nice and comes out nice and clean. And then once it's done, you take it off, you allow it to cool down, and then you can serve them straight away. Serve them hot, serve them cold. My absolute favorite is any of this type of stuff. You serve with nice and warm, straight out the oven, with an awesome bowl of vanilla ice cream.
Oh, you and ice cream.
Can't go wrong. So thank you very much. What do you say, buddy? Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
And happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Bye.
I do.